So have you ever thought to yourself, oh my goodness gracious, why have I gone through months worth of Instagram photos of your favorite celebrity and thought, oh my goodness, I wish that I could have their style, their glam, their grace, their aesthetic, but you don't have the money for it? Well, guess what, baby cakes? I got you covered for cheap! Hello and welcome to my insanity. So for today's video, we are gonna be having some fun, or at least I'm gonna be having some fun and you're gonna be watching me, and I hope that you're entertained by the video. Is usually how the system works. But I had this idea. So over the last 3 weeks, if you jump to my Instagram, boom, things there. I hate plugging myself, but like, you're gonna have better context for this video. So over the last 3 weeks, I've been sewing these jackets and I've just been really getting back into my sewing, and it's so much fun. And I've been getting quite a bit of notice in a way. Like, I don't have that many followers. I think I've only got like 250 or something, but I've been having people like direct message me and they're like, oh my god, how do you get your photos? Where are you getting your outfits from? Like, who's doing your styling? Who's doing your makeup? Who's your photographer? And all this kind of stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. This is crazy. People actually value my opinion. That's odd. So I thought, why not do a video dedicated to how to get the look? But I'm gonna go for an actual celebrity and not myself. So I decided that we're gonna try and get the look of Ariana Grande, because I just have a perpetual woman crush on Ariana Grande. She's so tiny and so cute, and her voice is so insane, and she's got some good style, I gotta admit. So what I know about Ariana Grande's aesthetic and her look is she really loves her thigh-high boots. She has like a white, like plasticky looking pair and like a silver, like sparkly pair. I think I'm gonna go for the silver sparkly because like I'm white enough as it is. Like, ice cream is tan in comparison to me. I don't need to add more white. The girl that bleached all the color out of her hair says. So I'm gonna make the silver thigh-high boots, and I'm gonna make the sweater dress kind of aesthetic that she wears. I'm not gonna be making the yellow one that's in the photo, boom, because if you can wear yellow, you're a goddess. But if I wear yellow, I look like a glamorous turd. So, we're not wearing yellow. I look good in blues and I look good in reds, so we'll pick from that. So, let's go get the look. Let's buy the fabrics, let's go have some fun. I'm gonna show you how to sew it and make it. This is incredible, like it's hectic. Look at all these fabrics. So many, but I have found myself a sparkly, cute little fabric. So with this kind of stuff, you need to make sure that you look at how wide stuff is. So you can buy whatever length you want, but you got to see how wide it is, because if you're wanting like a lot of fabric but it's only like ½ a meter wide, it's not going to work out well. But this stuff seems to be quite wide, so I should only need like a meter or two, and it's about 20 bucks a meter, so it's actually pretty cheap for like what it is, because it's like hella tons of sequins. So I'm gonna get 20 bucks of this, and then I've got to get some other stuff, but I have the basis of the shoes, which is great. Alright, so the lighting in here isn't great, but so what I'm going to use at Spotlight, woo, is right behind me. It is Sport Active Fleece. We've got the yellow, which is what she uses in the photo, but as I said, yellow looks awful on me. So I'm looking more so at the purple or the red or the blues. This is the kind of stuff that you want to use so that you can like line your wrists, but they only have some navy blue ones which won't match the color that I picked. And then your longer ones, I don't see anything either. So I think I'm gonna go for a different idea and we'll see how it works out. So I'm running out of hands, lol. But I changed my mind, so I'm not doing blue anymore, I'm doing red, because she has a photo where like she wears one that's like really bright red, and I think that color's gonna look a lot cuter on me than the blue. That ribbing there, and we've got that ribbing there. So I'm gonna buy this, and then we're gonna race home, and I'm gonna show you my haul, and then we're gonna get to sewing. Okay, perfect. So I have all of my supplies and my sewing machine over there. So what I have grabbed is, as you know, the place. I changed my mind and went for the red color because I feel as though it's gonna look a lot better on me than the blue. For the jacket, jumper, sweater thingamawatsie, we're gonna use this like sport fleece. I also got this for the bottom part of it so that it kind of comes in. You know, if you have like sweaters and jumpers, you've got that other bit of material that kind of comes in at the wrists and like the legs or the waist or whatever. So we've got that. We also have some for the wrists, and I've also got a hella ton of thread. So that's all you're gonna need for the jumper itself. And the best thing about this is if it's not in stock, if they don't have your size, if they don't have a color you want, you can make it yourself. And then for the boots, I have this white stuff. It's like satin, I think, that I'm gonna line the sequins with, because the sequins, as I said, are pretty sheer. So I also have this gorgeous glittery, sparkly sequin fabric. I'm actually loving it, except there are sequins going everywhere already. Oh god, I'm gonna have to vacuum again. I vacuumed yesterday. I'm gonna have to re-vacuum. So I have this stuff, and then we've got invisible zippers so that like we can put the boots on and off, because if you want, you can just hot glue everything and then just use it specifically for the photo. I don't really care. I'm gonna try and make these slightly reusable, like not going out worthy, but at the same time, like at least I can get a few photos out of it. So I've got 2 of those, 1 for each foot. So I'm gonna start with the sweater dress, because that's gonna be the easiest. Some people will go for patterns. They'll buy patterns and they'll use that. I'm cheap and I'm lazy. So the way I make patterns is I will use butcher paper sometimes, but the way that I do it is if you have a dress or a t-shirt dress or a jumper sweater thing already, use that. Just stick it on top and then pin around it and then cut around it. Make your own pattern out of something that already fits you, so that you don't have to go through all the crap that is the measurement system. I went through the house and I found my Sug Life jumper. So all I'm gonna do, grab my jumper, fold it at the seams. It's like my favorite jumper as well, so comfy. So just pin it so you've got like some sort of grip to the fabric itself. Come on. And if you stab yourself in the finger, you're not the first person to do that. So I'm gonna start down. You could be a decent human being and like do legitimate measurements, but I'm not that kind of person. So we're just gonna guess and hope that I don't use too much fabric. So when it comes to sewing, where are my sewing scissors? Okay, so once you got it pinned, cut around it so that you have extra fabric, so that you've got room for a seam, because if you cut it exactly on that line, one, you might risk cutting your actual clothes, but also you're not going to have any room when it comes to like sewing, because it's going to take it in a bit. Alright, so once you cut that one, what you can do, which is really fun, you can just put that fabric on top of the other piece of fabric, and then use this one as your pattern. Oh my god, I'm such a genius. Everybody loves me. Da 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 da. Ow. So I don't know if I said in any of the other part of the video, but altogether, all this stuff cost me about $100, which is a bit expensive to some people, but to other people, like if you put it into perspective, the shoes that she's wearing in the yellow sweater dress video, I don't even want to imagine how much they actually cost. Pretty much like my life savings times like 7 is what I'm guessing. Alright, so now we got that. So what you want to do is unpin it. Neck starts at about here. You don't want to be too claustrophobic on your neck, so even if you have to come back and re-stitch it later, if you don't have a dress form like me, once it's pinned you can brave putting it on and just hope that you don't stab yourself with a pin. Let's get to sewing this together. Now that this is done, we're just going to do the same thing for the arms. Get the jumper, make the pattern out of it, cut it, and then sew the arms separately. Do not sew the arms to the jumper first. Once again, I don't know if this is actually how you make a sweater or anything like that, but this is how I make it, and it seems to work, so yay! So I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to have the seam at the top. That's just how I am. If you are a person that likes to have the seam at the top, I ain't judging you. So what I do is I fold it and I pin it to the fold. See? Perfect. So then my pins. So then once again, we just pin it, cut it, sew it. Oh, I did it wrong. Sorry, I did that part wrong. So once you lay it out at the angle, make sure that it's flush, and then just do the same thing that you did to the torso. Just pin it, cut it, sew it. Oh, and stab yourself in the... So yesterday my camera ran out of battery. and I had to go to work by the time the camera got battery, so this is day 2. So let's get back to the sweater. Okay, so where we left off is we have an arm and we have an armhole, and we are going to attach the arm to the armhole. Because like you're not going to attach an arm to a leg hole now, are you? Make sure you turn it inside out. And the easiest way I find to attach an arm is, if you're like me, always put the seam where the armpit's going to go. Turn it the right way out. So it's like that. Make sure you kind of figure out what the angle is. So I'm going to be going for an angle kind of like that. And you're actually going to put it inside. It's easier to like sew around it, if that makes sense. So once you have it pinned, then you can just kind of go in a circle and just straighten it all out. Yep. So it goes around and around. So then flip it right side out and then check that you're happy with the angle and where the lining is. And if you're happy with it, stitch it up. So at the moment we have a red sack, but we should try it on and see how it looks. And hem it, because I feel as though this is going to be more of a midi dress rather than like a sweater dress. Excellent! So now we get to use this ribbing band. So it should be enough for ourselves. So it's that like stretchy kind of stuff that we're going to like chuck on the middle. It should be good. I'm stretching this out before I pin it, just because the band itself is stretchy, but the athletic fleece material isn't as stretchy. So I'm stretching this to meet the athletic fleece. And then when you have it on, it'll be nice and tight down the bottom anyway, so win-win. Once we got that, try it on, make sure that the length is good, and make sure that like it's stretchy enough and it's like pinned in all the right place. So I finally got it pinned at the place that I want it to be at. So once you pin it, just stitch it up. With the wrist. I got both red and blue in this one, but I'm just going to use red because monochromatic. So stick that part facing inside. So I've actually put the wrist on the sewing machine, but I'm not sewing it. I'm using the sewing machine as a bit of leverage so that I can stretch the wrist as I'm pinning it, because the wrist is a lot smaller and you kind of need 2 hands to stretch it. Whereas the bigger one, it's a lot easier. So once you pin it, once again, just sew it. Okay, so now that we have the ribbing done on the bottom, the ribbing done on the wrists, all we have to do now is hem the neck. Now whatever kind of neck you want is up to you. Make whatever you want. But for me personally, I prefer round necks. We're just gonna cut some of the fabric so that it's less claustrophobic, because at the moment, like when I put it on, it's like can't breathe.